All right, good Wednesday evening, everybody. David Paul here. Welcome to the KHOU Channel 11 Weather Center. We're going to forecast for the weekend winter storm that looks to have a significant impact across the state. Here, it's question marks as to exactly how much ice we'll get, but for the moment, here's what the models are suggesting for the greater Houston area. So Huntsville, Houston to Galveston, Saturday. Cold rain for most of us most of the day. Temperatures will drop from the mid-50s into the low 40s as we head into the late afternoon and evening. Now, after sunset and overnight, temps are going to drop down below freezing. So Sunday, that cold rain turns into freezing rain. 28 in the morning, we might make a high of 33, a little bit above freezing in some spots. In many neighborhoods north of I-10, we may not get above freezing on Sunday. So in a nutshell, here's what the forecast that we're going to go over here over the next 10 minutes is showing. Cold rain Saturday, freezing rain, sleet on Sunday, and that's when bridges could ice up and we could have power outage issues here locally if we get enough ice accretion on tree limbs and power lines. We are under a winter storm watch. All of southeast Texas except for Galveston, Brazoria, and Matagorda County, the greater Houston area under the winter storm watch. So light to moderate icing is possible. Winter storm watch goes into effect Saturday morning. I think it's going to be Saturday evening that we really begin to see the threat for icing. And then power outages from tree damage and the bridges getting icy will be something we have to pay close attention to. And that's why the mayor is urging everybody to plan on just staying home this weekend. Literally, stay home this weekend, if you can do it. There's also an extreme cold watch from the Weather Service. Lows Sunday night into Monday morning. That's when it really gets cold. After the precip exits, some Arctic air is going to come in. So feels like temperature. Wind chill factors 5 to 15 degrees. That puts us in the extreme cold watch arena for all of southeast Texas. You want to make sure your pipes, any exposed pipes, are wrapped. And of course, dress in layers. We're not used to cold like that, so it is going to be significant for all we Houstonians and Galvestonians and Huntsvilleonians and the rest of us. Scattered showers we had today, now exiting. That's all rain. There it goes. Temps are mild. Could still be a sprinkle overnight tonight, modeling. 65 at midnight, a couple of isolated sprinkle showers. And then in the morning, an isolated sprinkle shower, 62. I'm going to take into the afternoon. We're really going to warm up tomorrow. So by 3:30, 75 degrees. Sunshine, south breeze, big warm up before this Arctic air comes into Texas over the weekend. And there it is. And so we're on the edge of what is going to be a significant winter storm, significant in scope and scale. This storm will stretch from Texas all the way to the East Coast with ice and snow, heavy ice and heavy snow. And because it's ice, it's a power outage threat and a road shutdown threat. If you think you have plans to drive north on I-45 Friday night and Saturday, stop. Don't. This is going to ice up north of Madisonville to Dallas starting Friday night into Saturday morning. When I say ice up, like an inch of ice on the road is possible. You cannot move in that. You'll be sitting on the road with all the 18-wheelers who can't move. Trust me, I've been in that spot more than once. Don't do it. Just cancel your plans and pick another weekend. I-35 north of Austin, the same thing. I-20 corridor all the way San Angelo, Abilene to Dallas, to Shreveport and further east. This is just a no-go zone this weekend. There are actually two fronts. This is the first cold front. You can see how Dodge City is 36, and then behind it it's 25 in North Platte, 13 Rapid City. So this cold air is going to come in waves. That'll be the leading edge of wave 1, and then this is wave 2. For example, let's see, Pickle Lake is 5 below, Big Trout Lake is 16 below. That's how colder it is across that next cold front boundary. Both those pushing south. So as these Arctic and Canadian air masses often do, they will come in waves. The cold will build over time over the weekend. First cold wave is Saturday with us a cold rain, then a second wave brings in a chance for ice here on Sunday. Let me show you. Saturday morning, So again, by Friday night, let me back this up. We're already, here's Friday at 10 p.m. Dallas is below freezing. Freezing rain and sleet already beginning by 10 p.m. So Friday evening, no, not to Dallas, not to Abilene, not to Midland, not to Shreveport. Don't go here. Icing on roads will happen very quickly. There's Saturday morning at 6 a.m., a lot of ice. Dallas, Abilene, Waco, Lufkin getting ice, Shreveport getting ice. Houston, cold rain, 50s in the morning on Saturday. So I think most of Saturday is cold rain. We go to the afternoon, we drop to 40, still above freezing for our area, cold rain, but just to our north, that ice has continued to thicken on power lines, on trees, on the roads. So again, I-45 north of Madisonville, the I-35 corridor, I-20 corridor, just absolutely do not want to be on those roads this weekend. I-45, I-35, I-20. Do not go there. We go into Saturday night, into the wee hours of Sunday morning, and that's when the second push of cold air comes in. That drops us below freezing sometime late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. We drop below freezing. That means that from that point on, whatever falls from the sky, liquid-wise, will become ice. In this case, it's a very shallow layer of cold air, so it's liquid all the way until it hits that frozen surface, then it freezes. It's freezing rain. That's what we're looking at here. And that will ice up the bridges quickly and begin to stick to tree limbs and power lines. So that's Sunday morning. That's pre-dawn. We're getting freezing rain. More freezing rain by midday on Sunday, maybe mixing with some sleet pellets. Meanwhile, now that they've got a thick ice coating up here, they get snow on top of it for Dallas and Waco going into Sunday midday in the afternoon. We're still in the 20s. Sunday afternoon, we drop to the mid-20s, 5 o'clock in the afternoon Sunday, and we're getting sleet and freezing rain. Terrible for driving, and we'll have to wait and see if we get any type of enough ice to bring down any tree limbs and cause power outages. And then by Monday, 3 a.m., the precipitation's out of here, but our temps are going to drop into the 20s and teens. That'll be our coldest morning. So how much ice does it take? A trace of ice to a quarter of an inch. Build up on a power line, build up on tree limbs. When the ice builds up between a trace and a quarter of an inch, obviously the roads and the bridges become icy, but it's minimal power issues. But it's right above a quarter of an inch that ice becomes heavy enough to start bending limbs, cracking limbs, coming down on power lines, and it could also bring down the line itself, because that coating of ice between 1/4 and 3/4 inch can add hundreds of pounds to the line just between two poles in your neighborhood. Hundreds of pounds, 300, 400, 500 pounds. That can bring it down. That's the power outage threat if we get that much ice. Impossible travel and some tree damage and power outages. And then above that, over 3/4 of an inch, it's widespread tree damage. That's a disaster. Power outages all over the place. This is not forecast for Houston. What's forecast is a trace to a quarter of an inch. So let's talk about the ice. It's heaviest ice up here, Dallas, northern portions of I-45 and I-30 going up 35 going to Dallas, and there's that I-20 corridor. We don't get that much. This is an early look at the ice accumulation forecast. So there are a couple things to see here. Houston maybe 7/100, so maybe a 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation on power lines and on trees. That would be a wonderful outcome for us. That'd be great. We'd have some bridges and overpasses that were icy, but we wouldn't see significant power outages from that. You get a little further north, Huntsville, a 1/10 or more, still we're doing okay with those ice totals. But just a little further north, 3/4 of an inch forecast of accumulation on power lines and tree limbs. It goes from nothing to just huge numbers of power outages. And as you can see, we're right on the edge of an absolute, I don't want to say a disaster, but it's a mess with power outages all over the place. We go from nothing to probably hundreds of thousands of people without power if we were to get 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulating on ice and tree limbs down here in Harris County. And that's why we're concerned. We're getting prepared, because These are computer models. They're not perfect. We're dealing with Arctic air masses. There's a lot of uncertainty with how far and how quickly the cold air will come. If it comes further and stronger, we could get more ice down here, and that could be a big problem. But you see how close to the edge we are to a major ice problem, power outage, and travel situation here. Thursday, great day to prepare your house and your home for food and warmth in case the power goes out and your exposed pipes. We go to 74. It's a beautiful day on Thursday. The extended forecast, beautiful on Friday as well. By Saturday morning, it's chilly, 55 north wind. As I showed you, we drop, temperature dropping to 40 by the late afternoon, and then icy at night. That means getting toward 10, 11 midnight. We drop to freezing. We stay at or below freezing all day on Sunday. That's when, if we're going to get ice and impacts from that, we'll get it. It clears out before sunrise Monday morning. Hard freeze Monday morning. We're going to go 22 in the morning. That's in the Houston area. Outside of that, mid to low teens are possible. And then we begin a rebound, although still 24 is the low on Tuesday morning with a high of 54. That is where we stand as of this Wednesday evening. We're still several days out. Forecast is going to evolve. We'll keep you updated here, and we got another live broadcast coming up on KHOU 11 News at 10. We'll see you then.